Okay, boys and girls, now that we are ready for the next step, we are going to get all of our tools. So you will receive a popsicle stick. Think of this like a butter knife and a smoothing tool, a needle tool for your details, and a toothbrush and water for attaching. This is not for smoothing. The worst thing you can do is have a project that's too wet. So I'm gonna start off with my turtle. And now I'm going to create my beads. So for your beads, you need to have a paper towel and you roll out your beads. You don't want them to be too big, but you also don't want them to be too small. If they are small, you wanna have a little bit more. So you have to increase your quantity if your beads are smaller. For my turtle, there isn't much of an opening, so maybe I'll just do 6 small ones. So this is pretty good. If your beads are this size, you wanna have about 6. You could have more. So boys and girls, if your beads are too big, or if you have too many beads, you're not gonna have space for your beads to move around when you are shaking it. So you need to have some empty space, and then you also need to have enough beads in order to make sound. So if your project doesn't make sound, it's because either you have too many beads or your beads are too big. Or maybe you have small beads and they're way too small and you don't have enough. And then after that, you're gonna take your beads and you're gonna wrap them into a paper towel, just like that. After you're done with your beads, you do wanna work quickly because you don't want your beads to get like too wet. The paper towel is what separates your beads from each other. So if I just threw all these on, that wouldn't do anything. They'd all stick together. But the paper towel allows it to not stick together. And what I like to do after I wrap it is I like to swirl it around some more. This one might need more paper towel. So you don't want it to look too wet like that. See? It looks like the moisture is going through the paper towel. You're fighting against the moisture of the clay. Last one. And there you have it. Now, you're gonna place all of them inside. And you're gonna scrub what you wanna glue and scrub. You can just scrub what you wanna glue. So I'm scrubbing one pinch pot, just like this. And then I stick it, just like that. And I'm making sure not to smush my pinch pot. So you should be happy with your animal shape before you attach them. So you can still add details and make it look like your animal, but the shape has to be done. If you smush it, your project also might not make any noise. So I'm just gently smoothing these two out, and then now I can take my finger and make it look aesthetically smooth. So visually it's not smooth here, but when I use my finger, I can visually make it smooth. Just like that. Now, you want to attach your head, stick it on. The head, it's okay if the head gets smushed because the beads aren't in the head. The beads are in the body. So I would be very careful with the body. Then I'm going to use my finger to smooth it out some more. Just like that. Take off any of the tiny clay pieces. And speaking of tiny clay pieces, please don't let them touch the floor. You can always sweep up your table like this. See how it went into my hand? And then you put it in your water like that. That way the clay doesn't touch the floor. Now I'm gonna scrub my little legs and attach them on. Again, being careful not to smush my project. And then carefully blending it on the bottom and the top. You can always smooth it afterwards, but again, it's very easy to kind of like smush this. So you gotta just be careful. And now I'm ready to add my tiny little tail. Just gonna scrub back here, add my little tail on. I'll be as careful as I can, but something like this can easily break when the clay is dried, because that's when the clay is most sensitive. So just make sure if you attach small pieces, you really blend them in. Even arms, things like that can come off easily. So do not make it thinner than this. I know it's tempting to add cute, tiny little details like tiny little tails and whiskers, but those are usually the things that come off. And then now you're ready to add in your details. It is important that you add your holes and they go all the way through. One thing you can do is just take your needle tool and do it like that. So you can do it like that, or you can just add one at a time. Then I'm gonna add the little mouth and the little nostrils. You also wanna make sure your hole is in the bottom and it goes all the way through. So just like that. And then you can draw in your details. If you make a mistake, you can always take your finger and kind of rub off your mistake. You can always redo the lines as well. And then carefully write your name and class code on the bottom. If you can't fit your name, you can write your initials, but your class code is what's most important. Then bring your project to the clay table where I will have a blue tray for you, and just place it there. Now I'm going to do a elephant head. So again, sweep up, pop it in your water. So this will be my elephant, and I just create my beads. So I'm gonna fast forward. So an easy way to make sure that you have enough room is to only add the beads on one side. Because if you fill both pinch pots with beads, you're not gonna have enough room for them to shake. And now I'm going to attach. The trick right here is to be gentle. Now I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to smooth it. One thing that helps me is maybe going in one direction with my popsicle stick, but then a different direction with my finger. Okay, so once I think it's smooth enough, now I'm ready to add in my details. First thing I need to do is wipe off my tools and put this extra clay in my water or throw it away. Now I'm ready to create my details. So one detail I'm going to add will be the ears. I start off with 2 pieces of clay that are the same amount, roll it into a ball, and then press down. So I like my ears like this for the elephant. If I had to do a fox or an animal with pointy ears, you roll into a ball, create a flat slab, and then you draw the general shape with your needle tool, and then you cut it off with your popsicle stick, and then you remold it with your finger. So this is how you create those shapes that will be added to your animal. So flat, try to make it the same though. After that, I'm going to make it just a little bit thinner on the edges because their ears are imperfect. Some of them do kind of have a slight point, so I could do that. So just like that. Okay, so these are my ears, and now I'm ready to attach them. And I'm going to take this and smooth it out so that it is attached. Okay, so this is my elephant. Now I'm going to add in the trunk. So you create a coil like this. And I don't want it to be too thin because I don't want it to break. And I'm also going to slightly flatten it out. Then add a little opening here. So this is my little elephant trunk. And now I'm going to determine how long it should be. So now I'm going to scrub what I want to glue, gently scrub where it's going. And then I'm going to stick it, really push it in. Better for things to be smushed and attached than not attached. So now I have my trunk and I can add in some texture. Use whatever tools are at your disposal for your texture. Might add in some texture of my ears too. And with my elephant, to make it look more realistic, I can use my fingers to press it in to create the general shape of the face, and then I can add in my eyes. Same thing here. Where the horns are, I'm just using my fingers and my nail to kind of contour the face a little bit more. Okay, so now I'm going to make a panda. So big body. If you know where your head's gonna go, you can make a little hole. And I'm gonna make my beads. I am going to place my beads inside and then finish attaching everything. Now I'm going to add on the feet. Then connect the head. And when I create the face, I just pinch to make the little nose. So bears, their heads are not higher. Their heads are pretty level with the rest of their body. That's what helps to make them look bulky. So I think this is a good shape for my body and head. Okay, so now I'm ready for the details. All right, boys and girls, one thing that helps me with faces is pressing my finger in like this and then adding in the circles for the eyes. So just like what I did with the fox, I pressed my finger in to create those details. And then for bears, their little snout is flat. Like a fox, their snout is pointy, but a bear, it's kind of flat. So now I'm happy with my panda bear. And when I add in the colors, you'll be able to see that this is indeed a panda bear. All right, and that is it. Just do your best to create your face to your liking and your details.